Hi guys, and welcome back to the Library of Alexandria. This is Editing Alan, filming an opener for part 3 of the Q&A. It ran so long that we had to break it into 3 parts. It did not have an opener, so that is what this is. So, I won't make you wait anymore for part 3 of the question and answers you guys had for me and Christina. Jesse asked, where do we want to travel to most? Okay, I want to go, I need to take Christina to Rome.
I've never been.
I got to take her to Rome, and I need to take her to Japan.
I've never been.
I want to go back to Japan so bad. And also, Jesse, when I was in Japan, I never went to Tokyo. So I do want to see Tokyo, even though I loved Fukuoka and I loved Kyoto, but I did not get to see Tokyo, so I'd like to go there. I'd also like to see Hokkaido. I would like to follow the Cherry Blossom Trail in Japan. So that would be awesome. So that's really, I also want to visit the UK. So UK, Rome, Japan. Those are the 3 big places that I want to go. Nice. Jay asks, any book that you love but Christina hates, or vice versa, or books that we both love? Every book that I read, Christina hates mostly because they're all gory and violent. She does not like military war books at all. So most of the books I read, she doesn't hate. We do both like Senlin Ascends. She read that. And all of her, and I don't like any of her books because I just...
She says they're boring.
Just reading the back of them, it's like that, like the Lemon Sisters. Oh my gosh.
I don't even like that.
But yeah, like her books, like nothing happens in them. They're
It's
just
not true.
It's just like Anne of Green Gables. It's a girl who like jumps around in a field, and where and
Have
there's
you read it?
No, but there's like a porch that's green, right? That's what a gable is, right? Is it?
I don't really know.
What is it? What is a gable?
I thought it was like on the upper levels where there's like windows that pop out.
Like an attic? Is it green? I don't know. So I don't.
It's like a part of the roof, like the windows that like. I don't know. I don't know what a gable
Anyway,
is.
I don't like most of her books. She doesn't like most of my books, but we do both like Senlin. Do you like The Hobbit? We both like The Hobbit. Okay, Navi asks me and you, what contemporary books, so I'm assuming that's just books that are now, not just contemporary fiction, do I think will be timeless classics in 100 years, fantasy or otherwise? No idea. I have no idea what books will be timeless classics. I would love to say that Senlin will be studied for years to come. As a master of prose, but I don't know. Because what makes a classic? Does it need to be pretentious, hard to read, bloated with words?
You sound like you don't like the classics.
Okay, have you ever read Dickens? Because
I like Dickens.
Listen, because if those are requirements, let me tell you what's going to be a classic 100 years from now. Toll the Hounds! That's what's going to be a classic 100 years from now. Toll the Hounds. It's all 3 of those things. I don't know, Navi. I haven't read in a long time, and my books, I like really swashbuckling, like fun, like adventure books, and none of those are going to be classics. Shogun, it's not super contemporary, it's from the 70s, but I think Shogun is one of the only books I know about the Sengoku era, that era with the Warring States and Tokugawa. So Shogun and Taipan, the Asian saga, I mean, I just don't know of any other books like it. And they've lasted this long, it being popular, so maybe those. That's all I know. What about you? Anne of Green Gables isn't modern.
No, it's not modern. I mean, it's like Harry Potter count.
Yeah, probably Harry Potter. I bet that'll be read forever. Yeah.
I just think that that's going to get passed down so that it's going to become a classic. I don't know if it'll be studied in literature classes, but I think they will, like have the classic editions. You can buy the whole set.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I think it'll be something that's around for a very long time.
I agree with that. Abby asks, what are your favorite books from before you started BookTube? Okay, all the Discworld books, but my favorite fantasy series, if you don't count Discworld, is the Deathgate Cycle by Margaret Wise and Tracy Hickman. So these guys wrote the Dragonlance Chronicles, which are about the most basic of all D&D books. They're pretty interesting, but Archetype City, right? And Raceland sucks. Come at me. I hate the brothers Magier. Is that their name? But they wrote this other series outside of the D&D called the Deathgate Cycle, and it's about these 2 like wizard races. Well, no, hold on. I think it's about this kind of god race that created this kind of lesser human race, and the human race kind of got too powerful, and so the god race sealed the other one in a labyrinth that was meant to cull their population, and very few of them escape. And it's about one guy who the first one who escaped is like the lord of the patrons, they're called, and he plucked our hero Haplo kind of out, and they sundered the world. The god guys sundered the world. So there's a realm of earth, air, wind, and earth, air, water, and fire, and he has to go, and each one of them is kind of like supporting. It's just really cool as he travels to each of the worlds and unlocks what happened to the Sartan. And they're actually really, really good. The magic system is cool. Haplo, the patrons use runes. And in each world, there's some global problem that he's having to deal with. He goes the air one first, and then in the fire one, there's a bunch of elves, and they're being like torn apart by these like cyclops giant things. It's super violent. And then the earth one is all about necromancy, and then the water one has these like giant telekinetic or telepathic sea serpents that kill everybody. They're super good. Now, I don't know if they hold up because I haven't read them. I mean, they were written in the 90s. I haven't read them in forever, but I do want to reread the Deathgate cycle. So those for real, those for sure. All right, Jahan asks, what's my favorite Malicen book? I will answer that. It is either Midnight Tides or Bone Hunters. I like those two pretty much equally. I think book 5 and 6 are just fantastic. I think they're just great. Kenny asks, would I recommend the Malicen books? Yes, asterisk. Yes, I would recommend them, provided that you like military fantasy, you're okay with really long series, and you're okay with really dense books where there's a lot and you're often confused. So yeah, but I think some of the payoffs are excellent. And I don't think me and the other Malicen crew, I don't think we disagree on the payoff. I like the payoff. We disagree on how we get there. I don't like the journey as much as they do. They like the journey. I don't like the journey. I like the payoff. So more to come there. Thanks, Stephanie. Stephanie's Bookverse asked, what do we like to do besides reading? I love to play video games. I love to play board games. I play JRPGs. RPGs are really my staple. Action games are fine too. I like Assassin's Creed and stuff. But I like games that have stories. I don't really play games that don't have storylines or good storylines. I play a lot of board games. I love board games. I love board games. My favorite board game is Arkham Horror. I have all the expansions. I love Arkham Horror. I like board games a lot. Besides reading, I write some. I haven't written, and writing's hard, so I haven't written. Writing is intermittent, but I've written all my life. It's just I've never actually finished anything. What about you? What do you like to do?
Oh, it's for me too?
I'm asking you.
What do I like to do?
Besides reading?
Listen to music, make music. I really like to learn new things. So lately, I've been studying some Japanese.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. It's helping me. It's going to help me re-study as well. So yeah, learning languages is one that I like to do also. We have a bunch of Spanish books too.
Yeah, Spanish books. Working on puzzles. Watching Netflix.
El teléfono celular.
Good job.
Azul teléfono celular.
Yes.
See. Darth Andy, this is an excellent question. What do you feel is the best way to encourage students to continue reading for pleasure outside the classroom? I'll tell you what. You stop making them read things they hate in high school. That's how you do it. We are breeding children to despise reading. And we are literally saying to them, there is nothing of value to be gleaned from books that they would enjoy. I love reading. I hated the classics. I hated reading the books I had to read in high school. And that's not everybody. But let's be real. Most kids hate that stuff. Most kids hate it. I liked Catch-22 and Royal Hunt of the Sun. Those are the two books I came out of high school that I read that I did not hate. Great Expectations, I hate you. You're the worst book I've ever read.
I like Great Expectations.
That's fine. I hate Great Expectations. We teach the kids to hate reading. We teach them to hate it. Even the ones who like reading their love of reading is diminished by what we force them to read in high school. We can find a middle ground where we can give them some contemporary fiction of different genres that they could read so they could find something that they like, and we could teach them to read critically so that they can glean the same things from this culled list of contemporary books the same way that they can get something from a classic. We should not bar the classics. If they want to read it, they should. Maybe one classic. But having them read nothing but classics, we're killing their love of reading. We just are. Let them read Harry Potter. If they want to read Harry Potter, if it's going to encourage them to read, let them read it. Just let them read it. Let them read something they want to read. That is my answer to that, Darth Andy. Excellent question. All right, Angela asks, what historical figure would I like to meet? Julius Caesar. I would love to have spoken to Caesar. Caesar, what? Like, the man had no fear and had the devil's luck. I would love to have talked to Caesar, Cicero. I would love to talk to Augustus, even though Augustus was a snake. But Augustus provided the changing government stability. So one of those three. Cicero was Julius Caesar. I have to pick one, but Cicero and Augustus. If I can pick two others. Fantasy Talk asks, what's the biggest challenge you faced as a new booktuber this year? The biggest challenge as a new booktuber is fighting discouragement. For a while, like if you start out without community, like. If you're just beginning and you're not like already like involved in the booktube community, like you know a bunch of people and you talk to a bunch of people in booktube already, it feels like you're shouting into the void. Like it feels like you're not talking to anybody. It feels like you're not making kind of any headway for a while, and that can be discouraging when you pour your heart and soul into something and you don't feel like anyone is watching or anybody cares. And so that's the hardest thing, is just fighting through that, knowing that you're doing this for you, like you want to talk about books. And even if that's the case, everyone still wants us to like, we want people to like our stuff, we want others to like our stuff. So I get that. So I would definitely say, fighting the discouragement and pushing forward and keeping going. That's the hardest thing. That and finding time, because guys, it's not something you just sit up and do and that's not how it works. It is a time commitment if you actually want to be consistent with content. I hate saying the word content, but if you do want to be consistent with putting stuff out, it's a time sink. So that also. Patty says, yay for Christina being in the video. How do we get so much reading done? You go first. I
don't. I do not read nearly as much as Alan reads. I don't even read every day. I read a couple days a week for maybe 30 minutes at a time, and that's why I have only read like 8 books this year.
Really?
All year, yeah.
Are you serious?
Yeah. I've only read 8. I've started a couple others I haven't finished, but...
For me, I read so much because I have a wonderful wife who allows me to kind of disengage and go into the little garage cave that I have and read for like at least an hour a day. I try to. Sometimes she lets me read for like longer. It's hard because you want to read, but you also want to hang out with your wife, and there's like 1,000 other things you want to do. So it's hard to keep up with it. But you have to. I carve out time for it. I read every day. Sometimes it's only 20 pages. Which, I mean, if you can read 20 pages a day, that's nothing to shake a stick at. It won't get me through the books that I am trying to get through, but I read every day. And so sometimes it's 20 pages, sometimes it's 100. I just make time. I just carve it out, and that means I can't play Persona. I gotta read. For the record, it's not like he has to ask permission to read. Oh, yeah. It's not like, I'm like, yes, you may go read. No, she just doesn't, I cheer him on. Yeah, she lets me go read, like, yeah, I'm supportive. She's supportive of me reading. That's what I meant. Yeah, I'm confused. Charmaine asks, are there any shared favorite book genres or authors between us? I think we both like C.S. Lewis. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we both like C.S. Lewis. We both like fantasy. I probably like fantasy more. Yes. And I like more violent fantasy for sure. I think I probably like more like high fantasy. Yes, you like snooze fantasy. We both read Rothfuss. Name of the Wind, we both did read now. I told him about Patrick Rothfuss. Sorry that I did that to you. Oh, he screwed me over for the last time. Patrick Rothfuss. That's true. We did both read Patrick Rothfuss. Leslie asks, Leslie, what are my top 3 favorite videos I've made for the channel and why? The blindfold book challenge, even though I lost and have to read ACOTAR, that was so fun. And countless memes, countless mockery, countless misery. Like, what that has produced makes it one of my favorites. And my endless shame for not being able to recognize the Shorefall cover. Also, I really like the Game of Thrones, the not every book can be Game of Thrones thing, because I got to be Posh Allen. I got to do something stupid like read from a totally real book and have pictures that are totally exist in that book. And kind of do something other than just reviewing books. I got to do kind of like break out of the box there. So I really like that video as well.
I like the Posh Allen in the bathtub video, whichever one that is.
That's the Hot King one. And it's hard to find another one. Like, I work really hard on my reviews. So there are some reviews that I'm really proud of. Like, I'm really proud of my Poppy War review. I'm really proud of my Greatcoats review, especially I guess the second one that Dave Castell himself commented on. Like, that pleases me. So I like that video just because, like, oh my gosh, like, it's like, you know, oh, I'm such a big fan. So I can't really decide on a third one. It's a review of some sort, probably one of the ones that I worked really hard on. Yeah, it's one of those. Dang, Angela, Literature Science Alliance asks, what's my favorite period of history to study? The Greeks and the Romans. The Greeks and the Romans. Ancient Greece, I teach a class on ancient Greece, the 5th century leading up to the Peloponnesian War, which, guys, the Peloponnesian War is one of the most interesting conflicts in history. The fact that there hasn't been a freaking TV show made out of the Peloponnesian War is unconscionable. Love the Peloponnesian War. And also the late Republic, with the last century Republic of Rome with Caesar and Cicero and Pompey and Marius and Sulla and Antony, just these titans that changed the course of Western civilization. And also the 16th century Japan, the Warring States period, the Sengoku Jidai, where all the states were feuding before the Edo period started, when Tokugawa beat Ishida at Sekigahara in 1600. So those 3 periods are my absolute favorite to study. Well, hilariously, I actually forgot to record a closer for part 3 like I had for part 1 and 2. So this is Editing Alan. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you so much for 1K subscribers, which is the reason that we started doing this Q&A. Be sure to like and subscribe. Feel free to come talk to us in the Discord. Links to both Discord and Patreon are down in the description. Thanks for watching, guys, and I will see you next time.